Hi guys, how you guys doing? My name is Tony with AW Cinema, and today what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a teardown of the Eclair ACL. The reason why I'm doing this tech tip just so happen I happen to have a camera that comes in that needs a shutter replacement. That's a pretty big job. If it's your first time, this probably isn't the video for you. If you're brave at heart, I say go for it, you know. What we're going to do is we're going to do a complete teardown. I'm going to try to make this quick. I don't want this to be a really long, drawn-out video. I may have to cut it in two parts, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down, show you the things you need to watch out for. I may even solve some problems. I've had a lot of people say, hey, you know, my timing on my Eclair is off. How do I fix it? I'll show that too as well. Or my screen in my viewfinder seems to be tilted at an angle, even though my viewfinder is erected upright. How do I fix that? We're going to go ahead and take a look inside, okay? So I'm going to start now by putting my very fragile shutter in a very safe place. I also want to thank Bernie over at Super 16. He's the one who provided me for this shutter. Thank you, Bernie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start by taking off the magazine, setting it aside in a very comfortable place too as well. You don't have to take off the unit, the CA unit, but I'm going to go ahead and just unscrew it off, show you how that comes off too as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take a screwdriver, take off our handle, and the reason why we have to take our handle off is we actually have to remove the filter housing on top of the camera too as well. What I'm going to do is go ahead and take out these little small screws right here. Alrighty. Now there's something I want to talk about while I'm taking this apart, and there's several screws in the back of the camera that are very particular to the position or location that they go in, and I'll show you those as soon as I spin this around. I'm doing this kind of unedited, so bear with me. I'm just kind of going as I go. Right. There you go. Okay, these particular screws right here are very precise on where they go. You don't want to actually put these in the wrong way going back. I'll show you a diagram that I have made up on how and what you need to do to keep track of where those screws go. Okay, at this time I'm going to go ahead and take the motor off. And I apologize. Once again, this is kind of an unedited kind of a thing, so I'm just going. Yeah. Alrighty. This particular motor happens to be the 24 frames per second motor. The most desirable is the CP motor because it gives variable speed. Now, I've worked with Eclairs for quite a while, and guys, let me just tell you, running them up past 24 isn't the absolute best thing for them. They're not that they're fragile cameras. It's just that, you know, they wear. They really do, and especially if you have the later model. I want to say this. A lot of people look for the extreme late 2.0 or the 1.5. I've opened up enough of these to realize one fact. I like the very early one for one reason. They don't use the nylon bushings or the nylon washers. They actually use a bronze or a metal one, so it stays in a tolerance much better than it does. Okay, I'm going to remove the grip piece here. And not all Eclair cameras have this. This actually was an option that you could purchase. And what it did is just gave you it moved the grip handle from the bottom to the side, and it also came with an on and off switch too as well. And you want to pull it out kind of carefully because there is a terminal connection in it at the bottom there. So pull that off and lay it to the side too. Now comes for the very gooey part. There's actually 3 screws that hold this bottom piece onto the camera body itself, and those have to be removed. All you want to do is just take a screwdriver and kind of work your way into it, and you can actually see one right there. And I'm going to take that baby out. The viewfinder you don't have to take off. This particular one is the early one that's screwed in. If you have the later model that just twist on, you can take it off if you want, just to kind of to protect it too as well. Here's the second screw, and it comes out just like so. There's something I want to talk about that's very important in this base that actually may cure somebody's problem out there. Had a guy on cinematography.com ask me, I'm getting a flicker from my Eclair. Well, there's a couple things that could cause that. One could be obviously a light leak somewhere. If Eclair is going to leak a light, it's going to be in the filter housing that was on top. I highly recommend, back on the top where this housing is, put a piece of grip tape across that filter. This is a behind the lens filter. Sometimes light gets in there and you'll get a little bit of a flicker, but that's very, very rare. The second time is actually from this little bitty hole right here. There's a light bloop hole in the gate. Back in the early days, we would sync it to a Nagra. When you started it, it would flash and expose a frame. Well, that circuitry is in the bottom of this base here, and it's this little blue thing here. If you could see right here from the factory, the wires are open end. So what happens sometimes when this unit is plugged in, it'll ground against the body intermittently, and it'll actually light the bulb. So you'll be actually getting overexposures or a flicker light. 90% of the time, that's the reason. This one right here was unplugged, and you can see there's a piece of gaffer's tape over the piece that it plugs into. I'll lift that up and show you. This is very, very important if your camera is flickering. You see that pin right there? That 2-pin actually plugs right into that unit right there, and that light runs right up the body and gives you that bloop light on the unit right there. We're going to go ahead and just give you a display of what that looks like. That's your terminal switch, micro wires, your run and your run lock button too as well. Your power unit. I'm going to sit that to the side right here. Now here comes the most important part.